Hell is overflowing, and Satan is sending his dead to us. Why? Because you have sex out of wedlock. You kill unborn children. You have man-on-man relations, same-sex marriage. How do you think your God will judge you? Well, friends, now we know. When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
What if the infection wasn't a virus, but divine judgment or even an execution? As many of you know, Dawn of the Dead and its zombie infection have many mysterious elements, from what the infection is, how it works, and where it came from. In this video, I'm going to investigate and explain the religious undertones in the 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead. That being said, let's not waste any more time and get into it. A major theory within the community, and one supported in the film, is that the infection can pop up wherever people are. More specifically, wherever a moderate or large population of humans is, the infection will appear. For example, islands like the one seen at the end of the film. This is supported by how the virus spreads during the initial outbreak. The virus starts within the United States of America and is along the border of both Canada and Mexico. 10 hours later, it's reached London. This is important to the theory, considering the fact that the virus clearly is not airborne. If it were, the surviving group within the mall would have been infected 100 times over, considering their proximity to the infected at all times. This also covers the lack of origin of said infection. Nobody knows where it came from or exactly what it is. The CDC and World Health Administration never come to a solid conclusion within the film and extra content. This makes it hard not to believe that the virus is supernatural in structure. This paired with the fact that it is confirmed that the infected are in fact dead. No regular virus in human history has affected only after the death of its host, with such severity that is. We should also take into account that these zombies are still cognitive. They do have basic problem-solving skills and are even seen to adapt and evolve in rare cases. The zombie that kills Bart, the one that gets Andy killed, the one clinging to the side of the bus, and the alpha zombie that attempts to throw the propane tank back at the buses are all examples. This virus defies all biological logic and reason. The fact that the zombies are technically dead can have every bit of them blown away and still live, but can adapt, learn, and even evolve at times makes it hard to believe that this is a naturally made or even human-made virus at all. One of, if not the most iconic scene in this film is the "when there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth" scene. This scene is what started the divine judgment theory to begin with. This is one of many religious or biblical hints within the film and its extras. Within the news broadcast, we see a text slider that tells of massive amounts of self-game ending within the Middle East. Don't hurt me, YouTube. This alone isn't specific to any biblical or religious text I can find, but it sheds a light on the sheer world-ending nature of the event. We can see this goes against the book of Revelation, as in the book of Revelation, nobody can do much harm to themselves, since you are being made to suffer on earth. Revelation chapter 9 verse 6 states, "In those days men will seek death and will not find it. They will long to die, but death will escape them." Similar to Luke chapter 23 verse 30, where Jesus speaks of a time when people will call for the mountains to fall on them, indicating a desire to escape suffering. However, there are ties to the book of Revelation within the movie. Both stories tell of complete societal destruction and breakdown, with a worldwide war breaking out against the infected. Both separate humanity into two groups, saved against damned versus infected against uninfected. While the infection could be seen as the mark of the beast, the last similarity I want to cover is the way humanity reacts to said infection and the sudden need for survival. In the book of Revelation, people will often refuse to admit their evils, doubling down and refusing to repent. This is characterized by Steve, or as I like to call him, Modern Family. He never changes his attitude and selfishness until his death, falling to this infection, while others will repent in the face of survival, such as CJ, who went from the selfish, commanding mall cop to the self-sacrificing, redeeming character we see before his death. These two characters, I feel, were somewhat intended to represent both sides of humanity during the events of Revelation. Both characters begin as two selfish and rude people, not caring about the well-being of others, only their survival. As time goes on, however, the situation shows their true colors, with Steve falling deeper into his sin and CJ redeeming himself. Another supporting factor is the intro credit scene itself. The song played in the background is The Man Comes Around by legend Johnny Cash. This song specifically tells and refers to the book of Revelation. The song choice and religious scenes within the intro further solidify that Zack Snyder wanted this to be a subtle but tellable story based on the Revelations. The lack of safety is another similarity. More specifically, the false sense of security from each place the survivors seek refuge. Fort Pastor, too dangerous to get to, and later gets overrun. The mall seems safe for a time, then the power goes out and is later overrun by infected. Last but not safe, the island, spoiler alert, is crawling with infected. This is shown in the book of Revelation when humans attempt to hide in caves and mountains during God's wrath. But Revelation doesn't give you a bunker that fails, it shows that everything on Earth becomes unreliable almost by design. Another thing I want to mention is the setting the survivors are held up in. This might seem like a bit of a stretch because it kinda is, but the mall itself could be symbolic of the surviving cast's past sins. Now listen, American shopping malls are practically temples of consumerism. This could bear weight, especially since the mall the survivors are in is probably one of the worst for long-term survival. There aren't many restaurants, and most of the food within has short shelf life. As I said before, this one could be a bit of a stretch, but it does align slightly. There'd be no reason to want to go to the mall in this situation, especially if there are barely any restaurants. With that being said, my personal take on the virus is that it is some sort of divine judgment similar to what we see in the book of Revelation, but, that's just my opinion. There is a ton of evidence on both sides on the theory spectrum, and I feel I could be able to agree with both. It just being a regular virus and divine judgment. Feel free to let me know anything I may have gotten wrong in the comments. I will always welcome criticism. I want to give a huge thanks to everyone who has supported me in the last few uploads. You guys are amazing. I'm going to put a few of my personal favorite screenshots. If you hear dogs barking, those are my stupid fucking fat ugly dogs. You guys are amazing. I'm going to put a few of my personal favorite comments on the screen. As of me recording this, we are at a total of 670 subs, which is honestly amazing. Shooting for 1,000 as of now, but, no matter how many subs I have, I'll always feel I can improve. So, like I said before, let me know in the comments, and thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a good one. See ya.